Tucson. We are Unit 167.
Activate your voice, activate it now. We are live from the TCU convention in Vegas. Let's go!
Welcome to Activate Live this week. We're coming to you from the 35th Regular Convention of the Transportation Communications Union, TCU IAM. The union is here in Las Vegas. The convention began yesterday with a keynote address from National President Robert Scardelletti, a lifelong railroader who was first elected in 1991. Yesterday, he said, "We do not apologize for our good wages and benefits." Not apologetic for good things for good workers. IAM International President Bob Martinez also spoke yesterday about TCU's history of uplifting workers and how IAM and TCU have come together to fight for working families. IAM General Secretary Treasurer Doris Cervantes spoke to the delegation along with National Secretary Treasurer Stan Boyd. Now, this morning's speakers included IAM General Vice Presidents Cito Pantoja, Gary Allen, before the nomination and election of officers took place. Joining us to tell us more about the convention and what's taking place this week is TCU National Vice President Matt Hollis, who was elected in 2016. Matt, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So Matt, how did you begin your railroad career for people who are not familiar?
Well, I started, my dad was a railroader. Most of my life he was a railroader. That's something that we knew. We knew it was good wages, great benefits. So shortly after I graduated high school, I went and applied for a clerical position with CSX there in my hometown of Birmingham, Alabama, and got a job, and that's where I got started. That was back in 2004.
Now, when you were the youngest vice president on the executive council, and you've risen through the ranks of TCU pretty quickly. When you think back to when you first began as a committeeman, what made you want to get involved with the union?
Oh, well, I think for most of us it's pretty easy. You care about people and you want to make a difference, and you see things that are happening that you may have a personal. I guess we all could probably have a personal angle of what the way we would look at the way things are happening. But you see something happening that you know is not right or you believe is not right, and so you want to speak up for yourself. You want to speak up for your coworkers. So. Some of my peers there in Bulls Terminal, where I started, we felt like it had been a little while since we had an active voice, and so I got involved, and some of those guys rallied around me, and here we are.
Now, what is your message to new local chairmen who may just be starting out and they're at that point where you were when you got involved?
Oh, sure. Well, it's, it can be very overwhelming. The railroad will try to, and their officials will try to talk to you, like you are inferior to them. One of the things that I try to encourage all local chairmen is, you represent that role with pride. You're speaking not on behalf of yourself, but on behalf of people who are depending on you. The other thing that I would tell them, I had a mentor that, worked with me as a local chairman, and he's retired now, National Vice President David Steele. And one of the things he told me every time was, learn. Just keep learning and never stop learning and never stop working and doing your very best. At the end of the day, you don't have all the answers, and that's the thing that frustrates new local chairmen is they don't have all the answers. There's absolutely nothing wrong with telling, and we tell every local chairman this at the W3 Center, there is nothing wrong with you telling your member, I'm not sure, let me find out. And then I would also encourage our local chairmen, new ones especially, lean on their assistant national representatives, lean on their national representatives, work with them who are the subject matter experts. So learn, keep working, and don't be afraid to know that you're not expected to know all the answers. You're expected to do your best.
Now, there are a lot of local chairmen here at the convention here in Vegas. You had nominations and elections this morning. How did that go?
Well, the elections went well. It's an interesting setup. We have delegates here that touch and are involved with every aspect of the membership of our union. We are a very, very diverse membership. But we have delegates, and we have a democratic process that sends delegates to this convention from every corner of the country, and it impacts, like I said, every facet of our membership. And so their delegates came, and there were nominations made for to return the incumbents that are in office, and I think that's a great sign of the solidarity and the appreciation of our members on the work that National President Scarletti and the rest of his team do day in and day out on behalf of our TCU members.
And that is pretty important, that it is a democratic process, isn't it?
Sure, sure. There is absolutely no one that's unable to run. We have the rules of order that the delegates of this convention adopted, and it's a system that's been in place for a long, long time, and it's worked well, and it's served our union and the members of our union well.
And what happens next after the convention? I know you have another day left.
Well, so the delegates of the convention help through their, submitting petitions and resolutions. They use the convention as a tool to shape the direction of our union, and they tell us the agenda that they want us to go out. Certainly, there's the expectation that we're going to continue to fight for contracts that are rock solid, for wages that are. We've delivered a number of great contracts as far as wages and insurance go. They expect us to hold the line on our health care and continue to keep those rock solid benefits. So from now, for here here at the convention we get our marching orders as the leaders of this union, and now it's our job over the next 4 years to go and to implement those marching orders.
And you mentioned how diverse the union is. I mean, you even have workers at Disney. So tell us a little bit about who you represent and how things are going with Disney.
Right. So I'm a national vice president, but also the national representative for TCU Unit 96 and Unit 702. Unit 96 has CSX, clerical and intermodal, Norfolk Southern clerical. We have Bombardier Transportation. We have the New Orleans Public Belt, the Alabama State Docks. So we have some other computer programming entities associated with some of these carriers. So communications maintainers. So yeah, we have a number of 21 different collective bargaining agreements that we represent. Unit 702 is mainly is the home of most of our. Most of the members of 702 are in our Walt Disney World local 1908. And we have both part-time and full-time employees there, and we've got close to 3,000 members under that collective bargaining agreement.
That's a lot of members.
It is, and that's it's an interesting thing. We're in negotiations, have been very protracted negotiations. We're working with a good group of unions. We have a strong coalition that we're pushing. I think there's a national pressure and an expectation to get those members into a living wage. And that's certainly the responsibility that our members have tasked us with there. And so we're pushing to do that. There's, probably a dozen or so differences left at the bargaining table that we've got to sort through. And we meet, as soon as convention's over, we meet about 2 weeks in August that we have set aside to hopefully be able to bring that agreement to a conclusion. And
those negotiations, you just go through those differences one by one, don't you?
Yep, one by one. There is really no method. I mean, there's no set strategy. We're responding to a very aggressive company that we're trying to make an agreement that's favorable for all of our members.
Excellent. Is there anything else that you would like to mention, especially for people who have not been to the convention before, just what you want them to know?
Well, it starts long before the convention. There is a lot of work that goes into making the convention a success, and there's a number of staff and agencies that assist National President Scarletti at his direction to make things run efficiently. But it starts before that with the ability that each local lodge has to submit resolutions for the committee and for the convention body to consider and to deliberate over. So what I would say is. The convention is not just something for the delegates. Certainly we have delegates and we have their families and guests. The convention is something for the entire union to represent our members in a number of different ways.
We have a lot of comments that are coming in. Ramon Garcia saying howdy from our Southern Territory, so
howdy.
He's watching. Craig Hughes, Neil Hollis, yay TCU.
That's my dad, actually.
All right, and we have Cheryl saying we're so proud of the hard work Matt does for our family and so many others. So thank you so much. Craig Martin's watching, Ashley Aarons. So a lot of people are tuning in, and we're glad we were able to give them this opportunity as well.
Great. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to be a voice for TCU. I appreciate the trust that National President Scarletti has given to me and to all of our executive council. But more than just that, it's the resources that he makes available, so that there's never a challenge that we're faced with on behalf of our members that we're not prepared to meet.
Excellent. Thank you so much for stopping by, Matt. We appreciate it.
Sure, I appreciate the opportunity.
Great. And you too can comment as well. So just join us. If you're watching on Facebook, you can comment on this video right now. Join the conversation by commenting on this video about TCU and this week's convention. Now, we also have a live chat option that is on YouTube, so you can do that as well. If you are watching us from Twitter, then you can actually hit the reply button on Twitter. And we're hoping all of you out there watching on Twitter will give us a retweet and comment as much as you can. So just hit that reply button. And if you like what you see at the end of this show, we would love you to share it on Facebook as well. So we have people watching from all over North America on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and we really appreciate that as well. Well, our next guest is joining us, and it is Kevin Giffords, who is the communications representative. Is that your correct title, Kevin?
Actually, Director of Communications.
Director of Communications. I almost demoted him. Oh my goodness. Okay, so hopefully he'll forgive me for that.
Okay.
But thanks for joining us.
You bet.
So,
Good to be here.
So how's the convention going so far, Kevin?
It's going very well. We've had a day and a half of the convention. We started with our Chairmen convention on Monday morning. It went really well. They showed a very strong unity and solidarity. Solidarity backing the new elected officers. And we went from there to our main convention yesterday with Bob's keynote address, and International President Martinez spoke, both of which gave amazing speeches to our delegates, motivating, strong. Bob was particularly focused on members, their education. He tied in the past of our growth, both with all three of our unions, Chairmen, TCU, and IAM, and how we've grown from being walked over and walked on to being a strong group of unified force together, and how we can use that unified force and go into the future to make us better able to represent not only our members, but be able to represent all labor in general.
Yeah, not just strength in numbers, but power in numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that you've had on some of our local chairmen. One of the things that one of our previous local chairmen said that I really liked was the fact that the union makes not only us strong, but the non-union workers strong. And it also, that was kind of a weird tie-in at the time, but the more I think about it, the more I realize it's true. The better that we make our jobs, the better that we make our representation, the better everyone's jobs are better.
That's right. We bring our wages up, but we bring everyone's wages up.
Yeah, so then we continued on today. We went through some speakers. We had Cito Pantoja spoke today, Gary Allen spoke today, both very motivating. We work a lot with them, and it's nice to have them support us at our union, stuff like that. We had our election of officers today. Matt, who was just on, was elected vice president, and he's the youngest vice president on our executive council. And all of our officers were elected by acclamation, and that was really great. It shows the strength and the belief that our delegates have for our current leadership.
You have such a diverse union that we have with TCU, all age ranges. You're mentioning that Matt is the youngest national vice president. And it's important to have those young voices as well, as we move into the next generation. Absolutely.
That's one of the things going forward. It's really nice to see. The TCU craft is an older craft. And the railroad workers, Chairmen, supervisors, it's an older craft. It's nice to see the younger generation coming in, being trained. We have a training services department that we have younger men and women being trained for those jobs, to take over those jobs. They come from different areas, different crafts, different geological areas, and they all come together to form it's an amazing group.
Tell us how important the mentoring is and apprenticeships and just making sure that craft is passed on with those.
Yeah, absolutely. We have, in the Chairmen craft, we have journeyman level, and you have to earn minimum things before you get there, but as you get to that level, it makes it better. It makes the person who trained you, it makes you a better union representative, it makes you a better teacher. That's the mentoring that they work with, or they're like pass on their experiences to better, so that the person can better perform their job in the future. And we do that mentoring we add in our training programs. We have mentors who come in, like Matt Hollis, who's just here. He'll take a local representative who is one of his, and they will mentor with him for a full week. And he'll train them on the ins and outs of doing grievances, the ins and outs of doing claims, the ins and outs of doing all the things that allow those people to be better representatives of their members in the future. And it's a moment that you can't, or it's an experience that you can't, you can't get anywhere else.
So we're hoping that we spread the word to so many young people who are looking for an opportunity to better their lives and their wages
absolutely.
and move into the middle class.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So we're on a lunch break right now, right? It's about 12:16 Pacific time. This afternoon, we're looking forward to more speakers. And then we have one more day.
We do have one more day. We've got a couple different programs. The speakers this afternoon, we're going to have Russ Gitlin from the Guide Dogs. We're going to have a couple other people who are going to talk about the different things. We're going to have MMPL get up and talk about how our donations were doing. We're going to have Hassan Solomon and Rick Delafonte. And then, and then tomorrow we've got a number of different guys coming in. For some reason, they're not coming across my head at the moment.
That's
even though
okay,
I've seen 1,000 times.
So we wrap up everything tomorrow.
We should wrap up tomorrow, and we're pretty much ahead of schedule actually. So we'll definitely wrap up tomorrow.
Yeah, you guys are moving. I mean, this is the way to run a convention. It's just
it's been a very strong show of solidarity. The resolutions that we've got are going very smoothly. We've had a lot of people with good ideas that have been presented on the floor, and they just go forward.
Excellent.
So everything's been good.
Well, thanks so much for stopping by. Is there anything else you'd like to mention?
I think we're good.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
Kevin Giffords, Director of Communications for TCU IAM, the Transportation Communications Union. So you can join the conversation as well. If there's anything that you'd like to comment about the TCU convention, if you're a TCU member, let us know where you are, where you work. So definitely give us a comment on Facebook. You can also hit the reply button on Twitter if you'd like to talk to us there. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can use the live chat option, which is in the upper right-hand corner, to chat with us as well. We're trying to find as many ways to communicate with our membership as possible. And we're taking the show on the road. So that's why we're here in Las Vegas at the Mirage with the 35th regular national convention for the Transportation Communications Union. And we have our next guest hails from the Long Island Railroad in New York. So forgive me if my New York accent comes out and I start saying New York, okay? It only comes out when I talk to people from New York. So we are going to welcome Michael Sanchez with us, and he is with Long Island Railroad and also another local chairman. So thanks so much for being here.
Very welcome. Thank you for having me.
So how long have you been with LIRR?
20 years.
Oh, that's
20 years,
excellent.
yeah.
So is that when you first joined TCU?
No, actually, my story is a little different than the rest of the folks.
Tell us your story.
So I actually was management for about 12, 13 years because the IT department, which I'm in, because I'm an IT person, we were management, we weren't organized. So through the mid-2000s, just with the economy and just a lot of situations and morale and a lot of things were hitting hard, a group of us kind of looked out to organize, and we found the TCU and rallied the troops with Billy and Artie, our MVP, and one of our NRs, and we kind of just pushed through and became TCU about 6 years ago now.
So how did your life change once you became a union member?
So many ways. One of the key things is that now we have a voice, where before it was just, as management, we were just individuals and everybody kind of was like dust in the wind. We all just kind of do our own thing. But now we've got people have gotten a lot closer. Like I said, we have a voice. We were able to push forward a lot of stuff. Improvements in some of our benefits. Wages was one of the primary things. And doing IT work, we do a lot of things off hours, after hours. So Now we're actually getting paid overtime for that, which was huge.
Yeah, that is huge, to be not at home and you're staying late at work.
Yeah, I mean, that was a major thing. I mean, yeah, the financial change for a lot of folks was tremendous.
Now, what made you decide to get involved as a local chair?
It just kind of evolved like that, because in the beginning, when we were first talking, having been around the property already for a decade, and a lot of the other folks had been around, we knew people in some of the various unions, so we just started talking. When we met with the TCU reps, I was one of several people who attended every meeting, every session, every Q&A that we did.
So you were a model union member.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, completely. I mean, I was involved. I was always kind of one of the leaders in the department, one of the several people. So it just kind of became an evolution, and as things kept going, I just kind of fell into the role of a local chairman.
Well, we're glad you did. Thank you for all your hard work.
Yeah, oh, yes, a lot of hard work.
So what has the convention been like for you so far this week?
Oh, it's been fantastic. I'm here with my wife and my kids. I actually brought my mom too, so it's just been great. Seen a lot of friends I haven't seen since a year or so ago. Seen their family. The kids are playing together, even though they just met, and it's just like a wonderful thing. And that's what we are. We're just a big family.
So what message are you hoping to take back to other TCU members in New York who may not have been able to come here or who have never been to a TCU convention?
I really want them to understand that we're all brothers and sisters within the union, across the country. They may not sometimes get that sense because we're in New York and we're kind of all close together. They don't all the time realize, hey, we are across the country, and with the IAM, we're the entire world. And that unity, that strength that we have, it comes from our leadership, be it Bob and Bob.
Mm-hmm. Bob and Bob. I was saying that. Rob and Bob, Bob and Bob.
Yeah. I mean, we just have great people, and they don't always see that. They may read the websites, they may see some of the flash news, but they don't understand. When I could vocalize into speaking to them and being with them, say, we really do have some powerful people internally and the way that they fight for us. Because that's, we all build on what they can do for us, and we do for each other.
When Matt Hollis was here earlier, he was talking about, remembering back to when he first became a committeeman and he, had a message for local chairman. What's your message for somebody who's a new union member that's thinking about being a local chairman?
That they got to be ready to dedicate a lot of time into it. That's one of the biggest things. When I took the position, I thought I knew what I was getting into. I was like, okay, I'll have to deal with the people during the day, the members, dealing with management. Because a lot of times people think it's you're just dealing with the members, but no, you have to deal with the management as well for the problems, the issues, scope violations, or whatever the case may be. So thinking I knew what I was getting into, I was completely blown away. And I think if people don't really understand that this is a commitment, this is a real commitment, and that's why I love what everybody does, like here at the convention in regards to our families, the appreciation to our families. They had an appreciation day, or not day, but sometime
like
yesterday, tribute, yes, a tribute to our spouses and our family that help us do what we do for our members. That's one of the biggest things to a new person. When I do speak to some of the newer local chairman people, say, it is very taxing on your time, and if you need your family's backing, and that's really important.
That's a lot. And we appreciate all of the hard work that all of the local chairmen do, because that's what really makes a difference in so many people's lives,
absolutely.
Changing people's lives and improving the working conditions.
Sure.
And making sure that people are safe, the safety is a big issue as well.
Yes, that's absolutely. Wow. I don't even think about safety anymore coming from the railroad. That's just ingrained in me. I don't even think of it as a secondary thing.
And that is so important, yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think that's the difference between a professional who's been doing it for so long and has, you have a high level of skill.
Correct.
So it makes a difference. Anything else you'd like to mention? A little shout out to your other members back home?
Yeah, sure. Just the entire unit, our Unit 167 out of the whole Northeast, be it from Massachusetts, Jersey, New York, and New Jersey people, Boston people. Just, we're all here fighting the fight as always, and just have great leadership, and we do what we can on the ground level.
Well, I want to let you know a few people who are watching. There's so many people. There's like Pam Pennington, Paula Jones, Dave Lehive. We have Nicole Fears, Ken Schick, Hector Perez, great stuff. Keep up the great work. David, to seeing that. So
Oh, awesome.
we have a lot of people who are watching, and we
Excellent.
appreciate you taking the time out from,
No, not a
from
problem.
your lunchtime during the convention.
No, that's fine. I'm perfectly happy to do this. This is great. I think this was a great thing. I mean, and not even knowing, I didn't even know this was around. I hadn't really noticed it.
Well, we hope you come back sometime.
Sure,
you know,
absolutely.
If there's something going on in your unit or
Yeah,
at Long
I'd love
Island
to.
Railroad.
That'd be
and
great.
We'll get permission from Ken Gifford to,
Right. Yeah, no problem.
to do
Anytime.
it. Well, thank you so much
All right.
for being here.
Great.
We
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it.
All right, thank you.
So you too can join the conversation on Twitter, on Facebook, or on YouTube. So you can hit the reply button on Twitter. You can also comment on this video on Facebook, or you can use the live chat option on YouTube. And if you like what you've seen during this show, please share it or give us a retweet. We would like to tell you about some upcoming special events on our calendar. So grab your pen and pencils right now, because we always like to end the show with what our upcoming special events are. So the A. Philip Randolph Institute's National Education Conference takes place August 6th to the 12th in Phoenix. We hope to have a live report from APRI board member and government employees director Jim Price. I'll have a live report from LOCLA's convention later that week, August 8th to the 12th in Puerto Rico, which is still recovering from Hurricane Maria last year. The IAM Safety and Health Conference is August 12th to the 17th in Hollywood, Maryland. I plan to have a live report from the Pride at Work Convention, which is August 23rd to the 25th in Phoenix. And the IAM Aerospace Conference is September 10th to the 14th in Fort Worth, Texas. So we hope you got all that. We always try to keep you up to date on what's going on with the IAM and our constituency groups throughout the year. And we hope to see you at an upcoming event. So we'd like to thank you for joining us from the TCU Convention in Las Vegas. Next week, we are going to be at Netroots Nation in one of my favorite cities, New Orleans, to show you union members and our allies making a difference in their communities across North America. So join us at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern next Wednesday. See you then.